In today's video, we are going to be revealing my brand new car, but first I need to thank you guys because this would not even be possible without you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for your comments on my last video. If you haven't seen it, it was a big one. I'll link it up here and down below for you guys to watch. But you guys are amazing, so supportive, and don't get your hopes up. It's not a Porsche, but it is German, so we're on the right path, and stay till the end if you guys want to be a part of history, because you know we're going to get there someday. But until then, we'll move this over to the next key, so we'll see you at the end of the video. But for now, here is the reveal of my brand new car. There it is. That is my 2023 Volkswagen GTI Performance package with the manual. Oh, and she is fun. This thing corners beautifully. It's actually fast. Welcome inside my brand new 2023 Volkswagen GTI Performance model. And let me tell you, I am so happy to have this spec, and I'm pretty lucky to have gotten it as well. And I'm going to answer your guys' question right off the bat. Why didn't I get the Volkswagen R? To be clear, I would absolutely love to get the Volkswagen R. To be able to get that car in a manual in the spec that I would want could take upwards of a year, and the manual is really tough to come by. So it's a little bit harder of a car to get in today's economy without way overpaying for it. The used car market is crazy, and then to get a new car, you're going to be on a list for quite a long time. I was able to find a spec in the GTI that I really like, and in a lot of the reviews that I was watching, the GTI is actually known for being a bit more of the sprite car, like a little bit more fun, maneuverable of the two. And so far in my experience, it's been a lot of fun. There were other competitors like the Subaru WRX, which is a great option, and I really did struggle between those two cars for quite a while. Test drove them both and was able to get a spec that I really liked in the GTI. And to me, there's just a little bit more of a refined feel to the GTI. The technology is all crazy. Like, this car has absolutely everything you would want spec-wise. Cooled seats, tech everywhere. The only thing that I noticed with this that's kind of interesting is that the back trunk isn't powered. It seems like it's the only thing in this vehicle that doesn't have power. There are a couple of question marks getting into the GTI. All the reviews I saw was that the technology, like the screens and stuff, were quite cumbersome to use. Now, I love technology. I love Apple. I love cameras. I love everything about technology. So I kind of assumed that a lot of that stuff, if you're a driver reviewer, you might not be a tech person, and a lot of that stuff is user error. So I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised with how much fun this car is to use technology-wise. I can swipe this screen without touching it, and it's like I'm using the Force. It's super cool. A lot of the features that they said you couldn't have access to, you actually do, and you can make them into a quick menu. You can really customize these menus to your liking in a way that you can't really do with any other car. And realistically speaking, I use Apple CarPlay most of the time, so if your car has Apple CarPlay, you're kind of set. Now, the big reason that I changed my vehicle from the BRZ to the GTI was the need for space, and this thing does provide all of that. And I was worried that I was gonna lose the fun factor, so when I put the deposit down on this car, I made it based on the fact that I got to drive it and actually experience how fun this car is, and it is absolutely a blast. This car is so much fun to drive. It actually is fast, which you would never hear anyone say about the BRZ. The GTI actually is quick. Like, when you are accelerating, it puts you back in your seat a little bit, whereas the GTI, fast in corners, fun, but definitely not fast on a straight line. This actually gives you a little bit of that fun factor in a straight line. So to me, it's actually a bit more of a fun daily driver than the BRZ was. The cruise control in this thing is all the adaptive stuff that you get in all the fanciest cars, even in the manual transmission. And it has DCC, so the dynamic chassis control, I believe it's called. So the suspension is adaptive based on whether you're in sport mode, comfort mode, eco mode. Although I do obviously have plans to do upgrades in this car, and I don't know if that means that's going to go away or not, but we will be lowering the car and putting nicer wheels on it very, very soon. We've got the top trim model in the Performance, so we've got like heads-up display, all kinds of fancy stuff and safety features that you wouldn't get in the BRZ. So it is a bigger car, yes, but it's still such a fun driver's enthusiast car, and I don't feel like I'm really losing out on much of the sportiness that you'd get from the BRZ. The BRZ's rear wheel drive, which means you can drift it and have a lot of fun. The GTI is a front wheel drive, but realistically speaking, I'm not drifting that much. Maybe in the winter for sure, but that's not really necessary. And if you guys know where we're going in this channel, our goals are to get to a Porsche. So someday we will be back in our rear wheel drive sports car. For now, we've got a much better daily driver. Cost-wise, the car's a little bit more per month to finance, but you also get benefits in the fact that this thing has 240 horsepower, 270 torque, and that all runs off of regular octane gas, whereas the BRZ, you needed to run on the premium gasoline. And I never got more than 400 kilometers per tank of gas in the BRZ. This one, we're already getting 600 kilometers per tank. So a much better investment in terms of like the daily economy driving of a vehicle. And again, 240 horsepower, 270 torque. It's still fast. Stock, when you put this thing in sport mode, you can get pops and bangs. So the exhaust isn't awful. It's not great. It's still very quiet and very civilized in the cabin. I will be upgrading the exhaust as soon as possible with the AWE exhaust. And obviously there's a ton of really wicked modifications we can do with this car. I've noticed that you can get tons of power just by doing an air intake. So stay tuned for some of the modifications that we're going to be doing on this car. It's obviously just a much more practical daily driver, but still a heck of a lot of fun. So there you have it, guys. We have a brand new Volkswagen GTI. It is an incredible car. I'm actually very thoroughly surprised with how much fun it is. I thought I was going to be missing out on a few things when I got rid of the BRZ. I really don't think that I am. Now, we are on a journey to Porsche here on the channel. I'm a car photographer and videographer, but who doesn't want to own a Porsche? It's the pinnacle of cars for me. I love photographing them, and in the next video, I am actually going out to do some video with a Porsche. You guys might want to stay tuned because I'm going to be using some incredible lenses that I actually used in this video, so stay tuned. For now, we're going to be transferring this key over to the Volkswagen. This is a symbol for me when I worked with Porsche Canada, and Jonathan, who was working there at the time, recognized my passion and gave me this gift. Now I am moving this Porsche key tag over to every set of keys that I have until we can actually put this on a Porsche key. So for now, we're just gonna put it on the Volkswagen key, and stay tuned, subscribe, because someday we're gonna get there, boys. It's gonna be great. There it is. See you guys in the next video. Peace.